There are 3 things I never expected to ruin my week: a passive-aggressive group text, a pink frosted sheet cake, and a letter from a bank I didn't even remember existing. Let me back up. I wasn't always the invisible sibling. Technically, I was the oldest, by 2 years, but in my family, birth order didn't matter. The hierarchy went like this. My sister, Haley, family treasure, social media entrepreneur, known for once posting a sponsored makeup tutorial with the caption, "Use code DaddyPaid." My parents, her #1 fans, managers of her fragile ego and even more fragile finances. Me, the guy who just does computers or something. According to Aunt Linda, it wasn't always this way. I used to think maybe I just had to try harder. Be more visible. I got straight A's in high school, part-time job at the hardware store, even fixed our family Wi-Fi so many times the router had my fingerprints engraved into it. Still, nothing stuck. Meanwhile, Haley once got a standing ovation at dinner for painting a rock. A literal rock. My mom said it radiated potential. When I turned 19, I left. No blow-up, no big goodbye, just packed my stuff, quietly nodded through a very budget dinner at a chain restaurant, and moved into a Craigslist room with a door that didn't close all the way. My parents said they couldn't help financially. Something about Haley's brand development costs. I got my first IT job wiping spyware off a guy's PC who clicked on a pop-up that said, "Click here for a free llama." That was my welcome to adulthood. Over the next few years I hustled. Took freelancing gigs. Got certified. Built a tiny client base. Upgraded from Spam Ramen to Rio Ramen. I still didn't have much, but at least everything I had was mine. Haley, on the other hand, was building her empire. She went from dorm room TikToks to pastel-colored, GRWM, videos in front of ring lights bigger than her head. She started wearing business casual to family dinners, as if replying to Instagram comments counted as a job. I wasn't bitter. I mean, maybe a little. Okay, yeah, I was definitely bitter, but the quiet kind. The kind that eats leftovers while watching their family post dinner pics with captions like, "Proud of our girl." #BossBabe. The last time I heard from them before everything went sideways was Haley's 500K follower party. I wasn't invited, but my mom sent a group chat selfie by accident. They were all smiling around a pink cake that said, "To our real star," in loopy icing. I responded with a thumbs up and went back to rebooting a failing NAS for a client who thought cloud storage meant putting his laptop on the windowsill. Then came the letter. It arrived 2 weeks later, sandwiched between junk mail and a coupon for teeth whitening I absolutely didn't sign up for. The envelope looked like one of those pre-approved credit card scams, but I opened it anyway. And there it was. My name, my full legal name, typed in bold above a number I couldn't process at first. $470,000. Below that, a property address I'd never heard of. And a cheerful sentence thanking me for trusting us with your mortgage experience. I sat there for a minute. Then reread it. Then checked the back for some sort of "just kidding" punchline. There wasn't one. I checked the envelope again. Checked the date. The return address. The spelling. Nope. All real. A $470,000 mortgage. In my name. For a house I'd never seen. In a neighborhood I couldn't afford when I was 19 and sleeping on a second-hand futon. I laughed. Actually laughed. Out loud. Alone in my living room. Because the only thing more ridiculous than that letter was the fact that, deep down, I already knew where this was headed. The next morning, I woke up hoping that the letter had just been a weird dream. You know the kind, the ones where you show up to high school naked, or accidentally marry your coworker because you clicked the wrong Zoom link. But no. The envelope was still there, on my kitchen counter, casually humming like a live grenade. And the number, $470,000, still made my stomach feel like I'd swallowed a brick made of overdue taxes. I did the only thing any sane person in my position would do. I googled the property address. It was a modern, 2-story house in a neighborhood that had gates, community security, and landscaping that looked professionally Botoxed. The kind of place where the HOA fines you for having a mailbox that leans 2 degrees to the left. I clicked through the listing photos like I was snooping through someone else's vacation album. Open concept kitchen. White marble counters. A walk-in closet the size of my entire first apartment. And a caption that said, "Perfect for a growing family or rising influencer seeking the spotlight." That last line hit like a slap made of glitter. Because if there was one thing I knew for sure, it was that Haley had always dreamed of living in a place like that. She used to post mood boards with captions like, "Manifesting my future content cave nail polish sparkles." I always thought she was joking. Apparently not. I wasn't even angry yet. I was numb. Confused. Kind of impressed, honestly. I mean, buying a house under someone else's name? That took commitment. And parental assistance. And the kind of identity documents you don't just find lying around. So I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I texted my mom. "Hey. Weird question. Did someone use my info to buy a house?" 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then an hour. Nothing. So I tried calling. Straight to voicemail. Then I called my dad. He picked up on the second ring. "Hey, kiddo," he said. "Everything okay?" And I almost believed he meant it. "Yeah," I said. "Just got a mortgage confirmation in the mail." Silence. Like someone had pressed pause on the call. Then, that's probably a mix-up. "You sure it's not junk?" "Pretty sure," I said. "It has my name, my social, and a full loan number. And an address in that gated neighborhood by Hillside." Another beat of silence. Then, "Look, we can talk about this later, okay? Your mom's in the middle of organizing something for Haley's new milestone." "New milestone?" I asked. "Yeah. She hit 600K this morning. You should have seen the surprise we put together. The balloons were huge." I stared at the phone like it had insulted me personally. Then he added, almost as an afterthought, "By the way, don't stress. It's probably a mix-up. Banks do that sometimes." "Banks do that sometimes? Like what, randomly slap people's names on $500,000 loans?" I hung up. Politely. Calmly. Without throwing my phone across the room. Which, honestly, felt like personal growth. Then I did what any bitter older sibling with a functioning moral compass and questionable coping skills would do. I drove out there. Just to see it in person. I told myself I wasn't being dramatic. That I just needed to see the house, the one supposedly tied to my name, before doing anything stupid. It was worse in real life. The driveway had a pink Jeep parked out front, with a license plate that said, "Hey Bay." I pulled over half a block away, turned off my engine, and sat there like I was on a stakeout. And then? She walked out. Haley. Wearing a crop top that said, "CEO of me." Carrying an iced coffee the size of a small child, and posing for a photo while some guy adjusted her angles. Probably the new boyfriend. He looked like he moisturized aggressively. I didn't even know what I felt. Shock? Betrayal? A weird craving for caffeine and revenge? Then Haley laughed, one of those high-pitched, carefree laughs, and shouted, "Babe! Make sure the light hits the porch!" And I just sat there. In my decade-old car. On the street outside a house I apparently owned. Watching my sister stage content for a lifestyle I apparently co-signed, without knowing it. I didn't storm up. I didn't yell. I just drove home. Because the betrayal hadn't fully hit yet. But it would. I didn't sleep that night. I tried. I made tea. I watched dumb videos of raccoons opening trash bins. I even opened the Notes app and started a to-do list titled, "Don't lose your entire mind today." But around 2:43 a.m., I opened the envelope again. Just stared at the words. Mortgage loan amount, $470,000. Primary borrower, Logan M. Carter. My name. Right there in bold, middle initial and all. The more I read it, the less real it felt. I hadn't signed anything. I hadn't even applied for a home loan ever. And yet, here it was. By sunrise, I was in full FBI mode. Pulled up my credit report. Brewed enough coffee to caffeinate a small nation. And there it was, staring back at me. A hard credit inquiry. From a mortgage lender. Dated 2 months ago. Right when Haley had posted that manifestation video about finally finding the one. I don't know what was worse, realizing the documents were real, or knowing exactly how they probably pulled it off. See, back when I was a broke teenager sleeping on Craigslist couches, my parents had opened a joint family trust account. It was supposed to be for educational needs and emergency support. I was told I had to sign paperwork, just in case, so they could manage funds for college. Spoiler, I never got a dime of that money. But the paperwork? That still existed. And apparently it was good enough to give them just enough access to make things look legit, or at least, passable to a mortgage officer named Chad who thought due diligence was a Pokemon move. I wasn't even angry yet. I was humiliated. Because I could picture it so clearly. Haley twirling in her chair, pointing at marble countertops, going, "This one, Daddy!" My mom nodding. My dad sighing. And someone saying, "Don't worry, we'll put it under his name. He'll never know." They didn't even think it would matter. Just a little paperwork. Just a name on a line. Just mine. I stared at the digital copy of the credit report for a while, then did something I hadn't done in years. I looked up the mortgage company. Not the one that sent me the letter, the one that approved the loan. It took 20 minutes, 3 call transfers, and one aggressively chipper receptionist named Lacey, but eventually I got someone named Brad. Yes, actual Brad. Brad had the customer service voice of a guy who definitely owned a Hawaiian shirt that says, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere." "Hi there. Thanks for calling. How can I assist you today?" "Yeah," I said. "I got a mortgage confirmation in the mail, except I never applied for a mortgage. I need to know what's going on." "Alrighty. Let me pull up your file. Full name and last 4 of your social?" I gave it to him. He hummed. "Oh, yeah? That property on Hillside Drive? That's the one. Looks like all documents were submitted through a family trust account. You're listed as primary, but co-managed by 2 secondary contacts." My blood ran cold. Who are the secondaries? Let's see here. A pause. A click. Looks like Carl and Deborah. Same last name as you. Parents, I assume? I said nothing. Because what do you even say to that? "Oh, great, thanks." Yeah, they just casually bought a house using my identity and social security number. Classic family prank. Brad continued unfazed. "Anyway, everything seems fine on our end. But if you're claiming identity misuse, we need you to file a freeze and submit a formal report." There it was. The moment. The cliff edge between. This is probably a mistake, and nope, this is betrayal with a signature. I could have called them right then. I could have texted the family group. I could have pulled a Haley and made a passive-aggressive Instagram reel that said, "POV, your family commits mortgage fraud and your name sparkles." But I didn't. Instead, I opened a new tab, logged into the federal credit reporting site, and hovered over the Freeze My Credit button. I didn't press it. Not yet. I just stared at it, the same way you stare at a fire alarm right before everything goes to hell. The next morning, I pressed the button. Freeze My Credit. It was just a click. But it felt like detonating a silent bomb in the middle of a perfectly staged influencer living room. I half expected alarms to go off. Instead, my browser gave me a polite green checkmark and a summary page that basically said, "Congrats, you've just locked your entire financial identity. Have a great day." And just like that, the house of cards they built on my name stopped breathing. Now, I wasn't sure what would happen next. Maybe nothing. Maybe it'd take weeks before anyone noticed. Maybe Haley would be too busy filming a morning routine to notice the loan stopped processing. But it only took 36 hours. It started with a missed call from an unknown number. Then another. Then 3 voicemails in rapid succession. All from a woman named Tracy, who introduced herself with the energy of someone whose entire week just got torpedoed by a frozen credit report. Hi, this is Tracy Mendez with Brightness Realty. We're finalizing the property close for Hillside Drive and just ran into a complication. Please call me back as soon as possible. It's urgent. I didn't call back. Not yet. Instead, I made pancakes. It was a Saturday, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I was in control of something. The batter was too thick, the syrup was off-brand, but damn, it tasted like justice. By the time voicemail 4 rolled in, Tracy sounded less peppy and more like someone trying to smother a full-blown panic attack with real estate jargon. Hi again, Logan. So, we're seeing some flags on the financial side, possibly a frozen credit line? We're hoping it's a technical issue, but our financing partner's a little concerned. A little concerned. That made 2 of us. I checked Haley's social media, not to stalk, just market research. And oh boy. She just posted a reel titled, Empty House Tour. Manifestation Magic Sparkles, where she pranced barefoot through the foyer like she just closed on Buckingham Palace. I watched it twice. Once for the audacity. Twice for the acoustics, because that house? Still echoing. No furniture. No final clothes. They were celebrating early. Real early. The comments were full of hearts and emojis. You deserve this, Queen! OMG, that staircase! Where's the couch from? One user asked. Is it officially yours? Haley replied. Paperwork's basically done, nail polish just waiting on boring signatures, haha. Yeah. Boring signatures. Like mine. By Sunday afternoon, Tracy had gone from passive-aggressive optimism to full-court panic. Her 5th voicemail didn't even have a greeting. We need clarification on this freeze. If this isn't resolved by Monday, we're looking at breach of contract. This affects multiple parties. Please respond ASAP. I could almost hear the spreadsheets combusting in the background. Then, for the first time, someone else called. My mom. The name popped up on my screen while I was mid-laundry, folding socks and trying to pretend like I wasn't enjoying this a little too much. I stared at the screen. Didn't answer. She left a voicemail, too. Hey honey, there's something weird going on with Haley's closing papers. It's probably nothing, but could you give us a quick call? No big deal. No big deal. Right. Just a 6-figure property built on stolen identity, and trust issues thick enough to cut with a steak knife. I saved the voicemail. Not out of spite, just for safekeeping. By the end of the day, I had 10 missed calls. 5 voicemails from Tracy. 2 from my mom. 1 from my dad, no message, just a call. And still no apology. Not a single. We didn't mean to. Not a single. We should have told you. Not even a, hey Logan, remember that time we used your identity for a mortgage? Oopsies. Just stress. And panic. And the unmistakable sound of their perfect plan cracking like cheap tile under high heels. So I did what I always do when things get messy. I made another pancake. Monday morning hit like a truck full of missed calls. At exactly 9:01 a.m., my phone started buzzing like it owed someone money. Unknown number. Then another. Then my dad, twice. Then Tracy again, this time with an urgent update. And finally, the cherry on top, Haley. I let them all go to voicemail. Why? Because if I picked up, I might say something like, hey, thanks for the identity theft and financial trauma. What's new with you? Instead, I made coffee. The good kind. Sat at my little second-hand table in my little apartment. And pressed play. Voicemail number 1, Tracy. Hi Logan, we're now at risk of defaulting the financing package if this freeze isn't lifted. We need verbal confirmation from you today or the deal collapses. Please call ASAP. Voicemail number 2, Dad. Son. I think we should all sit down and talk about this. No need for drama. You're blowing this out of proportion. Voicemail number 3, Haley. Hey. Can you unfreeze whatever you froze? I kinda have a walkthrough with a brand tomorrow and they're expecting an interior shoot, so, yeah? I had to pause there. A brand walkthrough? In a house she didn't legally own? And this girl had the nerve to say it like I'd forgotten to take the chicken out of the freezer. Not freeze alone, they finessed in my name. Voicemail number 4, Mom. Logan, sweetheart, your sister's worked so hard for this. Don't ruin her chance over something so technical. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork. There it was again. That phrase. Like they'd all rehearsed it together. Like the loan, the signatures, the documents tied to my entire credit history were nothing more than a parking ticket I was being dramatic about. I stood up and paced. Because no matter how calm I acted, something inside me was cracking. It wasn't just the mortgage. It was the pattern. The assumption that I'd always play the background role. That I wouldn't mind being the scaffolding to Haley's chandelier life. That I'd just nod, accept it, maybe even pay for it, and never say a damn thing. But I wasn't 19 anymore. I wasn't sleeping on a couch under a towel pretending it was a blanket. I was Logan M. Carter. And they were about to find out what that meant. Not with yelling. Not with fists. But with cold, precise silence. I logged into the mortgage portal again, not to undo the freeze, but to download every document they'd submitted. Every forged detail. Every co-signing note that listed me as aware and consenting. Then I opened a new folder. Titled it, For My Lawyer, Just in Case. And as I did, another call came in. This time, I picked up. It was my dad. Logan, he said, like he was already exhausted. Look. This whole thing's gotten out of hand. Can we please talk like adults? I'm listening, I said, sipping my coffee. We didn't think it would cause issues, he said. We figured you'd be supportive. You always said you didn't want a big house anyway. I didn't know I bought one, I replied flatly. It's not like that. Haley just needed a little help. You're so responsible. You're not even using your credit like that. We figured. You figured I wouldn't notice? He was silent. Then, it's family, Logan. Sometimes we do things for each other. No, I said. You do things to me. And then call it family. Don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel, I said. I'm being clear. Then I hung up. No yelling. No threats. Just a click. Because sometimes the best revenge is clarity. By Tuesday morning, Tracy didn't sound like a realtor anymore. She sounded like someone who'd aged 6 years and 6 hours. Her 6th voicemail came in at 7:13 a.m., and this one didn't have the usual sunshine in a blender tone. Logan, we're now in serious breach territory. The sellers have backup offers, and the loan is now frozen at multiple checkpoints. If this isn't resolved today, the contract terminates. I don't know what's happening, but please, talk to your family. That last line? That wasn't business. That was personal. Because I could hear it in her voice. She knew. Maybe not the whole story. Maybe not the trust fund documents, or the forged signatures. But she knew something shady was going on. And she didn't want her name anywhere near it. Then came the group text. Not from my parents. From Haley. Haley, what did you do? Everything is falling apart. I had a designer booked. Now they're saying the house is being relisted? I didn't reply. I didn't have to. 10 minutes later, my phone rang again, this time from my mom. But she didn't sound soft anymore. No more. Sweetheart. She was in crisis mom mode. Logan, this is getting ridiculous. You've made your point. Haley's devastated. Do you really want to ruin your sister's future over this misunderstanding? Misunderstanding. Right. That's what we're calling it now. I calmly put her on speaker and continued writing an email to a legal contact I knew from a freelance project 2 years ago. Subject. Hypothetical. Family uses your info to buy a house, asking for a friend. Mom kept talking. We trusted you. And now you're making a scene. I stopped typing. Mom, I said, you didn't trust me. You used me. There's a difference. She sighed like I was the problem. You're overreacting. It was just paperwork. You weren't even using your credit. What's the harm? The harm, I said slowly, is that my name is attached to a $470,000 loan. The harm is that if anything goes wrong, I'm the one the bank comes for. Not Haley. Not you. Me. That's not fair. No. It's not, I said. But it's accurate. Then I hung up. Not dramatically. Just surgically. Like removing a tumor. For the next few hours, my phone was quiet. Too quiet. No updates from Tracy. No rage texts from Haley. No let's talk calls from Dad. And then, around 4 p.m., it came. Email from Tracy Mendez. Logan, due to unresolvable financial discrepancies, the home contract has officially been cancelled. The property will be relisted effective immediately. Please inform your family. Thank you. No caps. No exclamation points. Just the cold tone of a woman who was done. 10 minutes later, Haley called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail so shrill I had to take my headphones off. I hope you're happy. I lost the house. I lost my brand deal. I have a meeting tomorrow and now I'm a joke because of you. You're so selfish. All you had to do was sign. Click. That was enough of that. Then, finally, my dad texted. You've made your point. Are you proud of yourself? I stared at the screen. Thought about replying with a 15-paragraph essay. Instead, I sent one sentence. Let me know when you're ready to talk to my lawyer. I watched the read receipt appear. Then disappear. No reply. Just silence. A beautiful, heavy silence. I was folding laundry when the knock came. 3 sharp raps on my door. No call. No text. Just knock, knock, knock. I peeked through the peephole. Mom. Dad. Haley. The full cast, standing outside like a suburban version of Intervention, minus the emotional accountability. I cracked the door. Just a sliver. Just enough to make them uncomfortable. Mom spoke first. She always did. That overly sweet, passive-aggressive voice she saved for public settings and damage control. Can we come in? Are you here to apologize? I said. Or just to blame me calmly with better lighting? She blinked. Dad looked down like the floor might offer a better answer. Haley was already rolling her eyes like this was a personal inconvenience. She was wearing oversized sunglasses, inside the hallway, and a hoodie from some brand I was sure sponsored her fake house tour. We just want to talk, Mom said. I stepped out and shut the door behind me. Folded my arms. Stayed quiet. Haley gave me the look. That look. You're ruining everything again. Look she'd been perfecting since middle school. You always twist everything, she muttered. There it was. The phrase. Like clockwork. Not, we're sorry. Not, we messed up. Just, you twist everything. Classic. I didn't twist anything, I said calmly. You forged my signature. You used my credit to buy a house. That's not twisting. That's a felony. I'm just using the correct language. Dad finally spoke. You don't have to make this ugly. Oh, you already did, I said. You just hoped I'd keep the lights off. Mom crossed her arms. Logan, sweetheart. No, I cut in. Don't call me that. You don't get to play sweetheart while also betting my financial future on a marble staircase and influencer mood lighting. Haley scoffed. I lost my deal, you know. My whole content calendar's wrecked. I had brands lined up. You embarrass me. That one nearly made me laugh. You mean, I said, the brands who thought you actually owned the house. That one? You're such a jerk. No, I said. I'm just finally saying things out loud. The silence after that was thick enough to chew on. Then I pulled out the envelope. Plain manila. Quiet. Unimpressive. I handed it to my mom. What's this? She asked. Evidence, I said. Just in case anyone forgets how far this went. She opened it. Inside was everything. My frozen credit report. The full mortgage file with my name bolded at the top. The co-signer listing, Carl and Deborah Carter. And a one-page legal note that simply read: "This would qualify as identity misuse and potential fraud under state law." Dad skimmed it. His jaw tightened. Haley didn't even bother reading, she just said, "So now you're threatening us with lawyers?" "I'm not threatening," I said. "I'm clarifying." Mom's voice got small. "We didn't mean to hurt you." "We thought. You thought I'd roll over," I interrupted. "Like always. Like when I slept on a friend's couch for 6 months and you told people I was traveling to find myself. Like when Haley needed help paying off her first failed boutique and you used my old savings account." I took a breath. Not because I was angry. Because I wanted to remember how this moment felt, standing outside my door, no longer begging for space at their table. I didn't say anything back then. I added, "I kept quiet. Like you expected. But not this time." Dad tried one last line. "You're tearing this family apart." "No," I said, voice flat. "You did that the moment you chose convenience over consent." No one spoke after that. So I walked back toward my door. "Logan," Mom called softly. I turned. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. Not older, just reduced. Like the weight of what they'd done was finally landing on her shoulders, one missed call at a time. "You really won't help her?" "I already did," I said. "You just didn't ask." Then I shut the door, not with rage. Not to make a statement. Just to finally give myself peace. And it was quiet. Gloriously, painfully quiet. Behind the door, I heard them linger. Then footsteps. Leaving. The next morning felt light. Not happy. Not victorious. Just quiet. I didn't blast music or make a victory lap. I just made eggs. Real ones, not the powdered dollar store kind I used to eat in a cup with a plastic fork when I was broke. And I breathed. Not like some dramatic, healing arc moment, just air in, air out. For once, it didn't feel like I was waiting for someone else to decide whether I got peace or not. Around 11 a.m., I checked my email. There it was. Subject: final attempt from Haley. "Logan, I know you're angry. I know you feel like we betrayed you. But this house was going to change everything for me." I had press lined up. A segment on a local influencer spotlight show. This was my big break. "You've always been the strong one. Can't you just let this go? Please. For me. For the family. For Mom and Dad. You know you're the only one who ever makes things happen." That last line made my stomach turn. Because it was true. I was the one who always made things happen. Rent payments. Credit scores. Groceries when Dad was short. Covering overdraft fees for Mom's card, quietly. Picking up Haley when her car got towed because she parked in a loading zone for aesthetic. And not once had any of them said, "Thank you." They just assumed. So this time, I decided to make something happen for myself. I logged into the credit freeze portal again, not to lift it, but to lock it permanently with a 10-year freeze and fraud alert. Then I updated my emergency contacts. Removed every family member. And finally, I pulled out my laptop and opened a document I'd been working on all week. Document title: "Support removed, effective immediately." It listed every utility bill I'd been silently paying for my parents. 2 old credit cards I'd been an authorized user on, both closed. Subscription services logged into my accounts: Netflix, Amazon, HBO, sorry not sorry. The website hosting for Haley's influencer portfolio, yes, that too. And at the bottom? "If any of you need tech help, bill support, or loan signatures, please contact the version of me you thought you could use forever. He doesn't live here anymore." I saved it. Then attached it to one last email. To Mom, Dad, Haley. Subject: final clarification. "I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done. Logan." I hit send. then turned off my phone. Just for a few hours. Not to block them out, but to give myself back some silence. And that night, for the first time in what felt like years, I fell asleep without checking who needed something from me. No guilt. No background role. Just me. Centered. Present. And free.